Welcome to part 2 of my trip from Kent to Orkney in my Nissan ENV200 Microcamper, sharing my feedback on how I found driving and charging a van with a small 40 kilowatt hour battery, and sharing some videos on the astonishingly beautiful scenery of the west of Scotland. In Glencoe, I stayed at the Invercoe Caravan and Camping Park on the edge of Loch Leven, where you can hear me say, "It's early morning at Invercoe Caravan and Camping Site. It's the only time I'm going to get any sun today." But I was wrong. Much to my surprise, it was sunny all day. So after a morning coffee, I decided to climb the 742 metre Pap Glencoe, which made it a decidedly hot day for me, and quite a tough hike. But the views of the peak definitely made it worth it. I was even treated to some beautiful views from my van in the evening. The next day I drove to Glennevis, where I hiked to the Steel Waterfalls, which you may have seen in the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire film. Comment below. Note. It's a day when it has rained on and off all day. Fingers crossed at the moment. Found an hour or two. But at least no rain, if not full sun. Let's see what it looks like when we get closer. Answer: it looks like this. Incidentally, the car park nearest the falls is very small and very tight and very busy. And it's another good reason why those of us with microcampers can feel a little bit smug about being able to access such places. Below the falls is the steel wire bridge, which I had to go across. Here's the evidence. It wasn't that bad actually, although it was a little painful on my shoulders being stretched across like that. Welcome to the Isle of Skye, probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. Astonishingly so. I mean, every corner you go around you seem to see yet another amazing vista. I stayed in two places on Skye. In the Camping and Caravan Club member site, which was a beautiful location, but where I had a frustrating conversation with one of the managers about not being able to use my granny charger on my pitch, which is something I might come back to. I also stayed one night in Carbost, a few hundred yards from the Talisker distillery, where you can pay £10 a night to stay in your van right on the waterfront moorings, and where I woke up to this view. Harbour, first thing in the morning, 7:30. Rained all night, very lucky. And that there, right, there is where the camper vans are parked overnight. So lovely spot. I could talk for ages about the other things I did in Skye, but I'll just recommend hiking in the Kerrang, the peaceful and beautiful Rah waterfall, where I was the only person there, and even a boat trip. We saw white-tipped eagles, dolphins, seals, and even a swimming puffin. I will be back, but for now, let's return to EV charging. So I'm on the Isle of Skye, which is astonishingly beautiful. It's just fantastic scenery and walks, and even just drives are just amazing. So fantastic. Unfortunately, the same can't be said, at least in my experience, of the EV charging network. There are some good ones, and I will make a note of those. But they are sadly in the minority, and my experience so far is that a lot of the chargers are either not working at all when I get there, or they seem to be, but when you try to pay, it doesn't accept the payment, or rather annoyingly, some of them will cut me off halfway through and have to start again, start from reconnect. And rather annoyingly, there's several I've found where it says that, for example, there are 4 chargers, but when you get there, there's only space for 2 cars. Or alternatively, it's got a Chatham and a CCS on the unit, but only one can be used and not both. So Again, just a frustrating time. And there aren't that many. And I've been talking to other EV drivers today as we've been queuing up or swapping over between the points, and it seems to be a common thing at the moment, certainly from today. I have reported 2 of the broken ones to the companies. We'll see if they get them fixed. We'd hope so. And it's been frustrating compared to other parts of Scotland, which have been pretty good so far. So I've got 2 more days here, so fingers crossed it might change. I will do another video if it does, but so far it's not necessarily what one would hope for moving around. So I said I'd do another video if I found things changed, and I didn't. Useless. Hence the interruption here. In actual fact, the good news is that over the following 2 days, the ESO chargers in Portree, which either weren't working on the day I recorded that or were erratic, did improve. I used them several times over the rest of my time in Skye, and they work well. I will talk more about ESO's chargers and them as an EV charging company later in this video. After leaving Skye, I drove the Applecross Pass, sometimes called Scotland's most dangerous road, and which climbs very steeply to over 600 metres, includes 20% gradients, and has no rapid chargers near either end of it. That deserves a video of its own, so that's all I'll say on that for now. The rest of the coast from Skye to Durness is a combination of lovely campsites, more breathtaking mountains and cliffs, and some stunning beaches. But rather than talk over that, I've created a montage of my trip there, and then I will discuss how I found the EV charging on this part of the NC500 after that. So a quick few words on ESO charges. Actually, I think it's pronounced something else, easier or something, which I will find all over the west coast of Scotland. Most of the time they've worked well for me. There is an app, very useful to get. The most important thing I've found is to really follow the instructions carefully. If it says don't plug in until after you've got your card authorized, etc., then don't plug in. Then do it afterwards. I've watched other people do it and it hasn't worked if they've done it wrong. So that's a tip. This machine you're looking at here is one of their new ones where I think it can actually do 2 cars at once, which is great. No CHAdeMO here, both CCS, but that's okay. You can use the EV Boy adapter if you've got one. But most of the others have CHAdeMO and CCS, but really annoyingly, you can only use one at a time. So frustrating. They also do have Type 2, which for us as ENV200 drivers, at least you can get something out of. But they are just about suitably spaced, so you can make it all the way to the north. So that's my feedback on, let's call it ESO for now.